Right. So, the first chapter under the topic of economics. Okay. So, today is the first class of economics, and in economics, I'm going to first start with part A. Under this part A, it is macroeconomics, and under this macroeconomics, the chapter which we are going to discuss right now is national income and related aggregates. Simultaneously, நீங்கள் notes எடுத்துக்கோங்க. Okay. National income and related aggregates. So, under this topic, okay, what we are going to discuss. First, we are going to see about the sectors. Okay, so first we are going to discuss about how many sectors are there on the whole. Okay, there are four sectors in our economy. So, how many sectors are there on the whole? On the whole, we have got four sectors. What are they if you ask? The first one is nothing but household sectors. The first sector is household sector. This is nothing but consumers. The second sector is firms. The second sector is nothing but firms. That is nothing but producers. The third sector is government sector. And the last fourth sector is external sectors. This is also we call it as rest of the world. Rest of the world. So totally how many sectors are there in our economy, Kana? How many sectors are there in our economy? Hello. Four sectors. What are they? Household sector, that is nothing but consumers. Then the firms, that is producers. Then comes the government sector. And then the fourth sector is external sector. It is also known as rest of the world. Okay, what is the other name of external sector? External sector is also known as rest of the world. Okay. So first let us understand what is national income. Okay. We are going to learn something called as national income. There are two terms. One nation, the other income. So income of the nation in simple terms we call this as national income. Okay, the term has got two meaning. I mean, sorry, it has two words. One is nation, and other is income. So national income is the income of a economy, income of a country. So it refers to the income of any nation, that is a country. Okay, so national income is nothing but it refers to the income. Okay, it refers to the income of any economy. Okay, of any economy. The economy is nothing but country. Got it? Able to understand? Why we say of any economy? Because every country will earn something called as an income, that's called the income of that particular nation. For example, if India is earning some income, through its trade activity. We call them as it is the income of India. So in the same way, if America is earning some income through their trade activities, we call that particular income as America's income. So that is the reason we say it is the income of that particular nation. It refers to the income of any economy. So எந்த கண்ட்ரியோடது இன்கமோ அந்த கண்ட்ரியோடது இன்கம், that is எந்த நேஷனோட இன்கமோ we call them as national income. That's a simple meaning of the word national income. Now, under this, first we are going to learn something called as circular flow of income. What we are going to discuss under this topic, we are going to discuss a term called as circular flow of income in two sector economy. What we are going to discuss right now, circular flow of income in two sector economy. So now I am using the term called two sectors. What are those two sectors? The two sectors are nothing but household and firm. What are those two sectors? Household and firms. So we are going to discuss about the circular flow of income, okay, with respect to household and firms. Why we call this as a circular flow? Circle எப்படி இருக்கும்? It will be in this form. And flow are of two types, inflow, outflow. Right? This is circle. Okay, and when I talk about the flow can be of two types. One is inflow and the other one is outflow. So we are going to discuss about circular flow of income. What we are going to discuss about? We are going to discuss about circular flow of income. So only for income we have inflow and outflow. Okay, that's why we are clubbing the term circular flow of income. So that means from the firm to the household, and from household to the firm, the money is going to get exchanged. The money is going to get distributed. That is what we are going to learn in this concept, that is circular flow of income. கான்செப்சுவலாக புரியுதா? டெர்மினாலஜிஸ் வச்சு பாருங்க. சர்க்குலர் ஃப்ளோ ஆஃப் இன்கம் இன் டூ செக்டர் எக்கானமி. அப்போ ஹவுஸ் ஹோல்ட் அண்ட் ஃபர்ம், தீஸ் ஆர் த ஒன்லி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் எலிமெண்ட்ஸ் இன் டூ செக்டர் எக்கானமி. So we using the term circular flow. So circular, it is nothing but it is round in shape. So it will be okay between these two items, that is your household and firm, and the flow is referring to the income. So income means inflow of cash and outflow of cash. So that is what we are going to discuss it. Okay, let's see what we are going to take the notes under this concept. Have you taken up to this? Have you all taken up to this? Whatever we have discussed so far? Okay, so now let me give you the points for circular flow of income. It refers to, okay, take down the point. It means circular flow of income. Okay, it refers to circular flow of income in the production process. In which process? Circular flow of income in the production process. When I use the word here production process, just go back to the terms what we had taken initially. We had mentioned here there is something called household, which is consumer. There is something called firms, which is producer, government, and external factors or sectors. So production process, that means where the production takes place. Does production takes place in the household or production takes place in the firms? எங்க ப்ரொடக்ஷன் நடக்கும், ஃபர்ம்லயா இல்ல ஹவுஸ் ஹோல்ட்லயா? Where the production will take place kana, whether it will take place in the firm or it will take place in household. Firms, அதனால அதுக்கு பேரே producers. That is why we are given the other name as producers. So producers will only do the production process. Okay, so it is referring to the circular flow of income in the production process. It says that income is generated by, okay, income is generated by household from firm, and also they spend their income in the form of consumption expenditure to firm. So what they say, it is referring to the circular flow of income in production process. Income has been generated by households from firms. Okay, from where it has been generated? From the firms. But by whom it is generated? By household. So with the help of the household, the firm produces some goods and then it is earning some income. That is why we say income has been generated by the household from firms, and also what it says, they spend. Okay, who we are mentioning here as they is nothing but household. Okay, the household will spend income in the form of what format? In the form of consumption expenditure. So what is the name given for that expenditure?
Consumption expenditure.
So it says very clearly, the firm is only generating the income. Income யார் generate பண்றா பாரு. Income is generated by household from firms. So that means the firm is generating the income with the help of the household, and then okay, the household is using that particular income in the form of a consumption expenditure, okay, to firm itself. They're giving it back to the firm itself. Now let us understand this in a diagrammatic manner. So let us take these two things. You have got, okay, a households, okay, and you have got a firm. Okay, you have got a firm. So this is your household, and here is the firm. What happens is the household will provide the required factor services to the firm. Okay, so the required factor services will be provided from the household to the firm. Okay, so it provides the factor, okay, services. And what will happen is the firm will make use of those factors, and it will give in return something called as a factor payment back to the household. Okay, the firm will be providing, okay, factor payment to the household. What does it provides? It will provide the factor payment. ஓகே, அப்போ பாரு எப்படி இருக்கு. ஹவுஸ் ஹோல்ட்லேருந்து ஓகே ஃபேர்முக்கு நம்ம என்ன பண்ணுறோம்? We are providing the services, factor services being provided, and for this in return the firm is providing, okay, the household the factor payment. Got it? Can
Yes,
you,
sir.
okay, in the same way if you see, okay, the household is providing, okay, the consumption expenditure back to the firm, and the firm is providing the goods and services back to the household. Okay, now you will have to understand what does it refers to. Okay, that is for what purpose the service are provided to you. They are providing you the purpose, okay, of production. That is, they are providing the land, labor, capital, and enterprise. So you may ask, what is factor services? Okay, the household is providing the factor services such as, okay, to the firm, they are providing land, okay, and then they are providing labor, they are providing the capital, and also entrepreneur. Okay, that is called as enterprise. So these are the services provided by household to the firm, right? Can you able to understand? The household is providing you the land, they are providing the labor, they are providing the capital, and also the entrepreneurship. These are the factor services. They are consuming all these services and they are providing you the factor payment. What is the payment if you ask? For the land, they provide you rent. What they provide you for land? For land, rent is being provided. For labor, they provide
Wages.
wages. For capital, they provide you interest on capital, what you're learning in your accountancy also. Okay, they are providing interest on capital. And of course, for the entrepreneurship, the net profit, or we say normal profit, okay, it is given back to the what? Entrepreneurship. Now you may ask one more thing, sir, how come, sir, capital is being provided by the household? Land கொடுக்குறாங்க, ஓகே, லேபரையும் கொடுக்குறாங்க, ரைட்? ஸோ இப்போ லேண்ட் லேபர் இது எல்லாமே என்ன வந்துடும் உனக்கு ஒரு அசெட்டாக ஃபார்ம் ஆயிருமா? Just think from the accounting point of view. Okay, land it is an asset. Labor, labor can be okay viewed as an staff, employees. Okay, so employees is a major asset. It is the greatest asset for any organization. And moreover, when you are going to keep some dues, நீங்க உங்களோட லேபருக்கு அமௌண்ட் அவுட்ஸ்டாண்டிங்காக வச்சீங்கன்னா அப்போ அவங்க உங்களுக்கு என்ன, நீங்க என்ன அவங்களுக்கு, the relationship will become debtor creditor relationship, right? Suppose you have to pay this month wages, you are not paid the wages yet, it is outstanding wages, அப்ப liability இருக்கு, right? So you see here land, labor, it is a asset, and that asset contributes to the capital. So in this way only you are getting capital also into the picture. Okay, so the land, capital, okay, labor, and entrepreneurship is being supplied by the household to the firm, and firm is providing the factor payment in a such a way like rent, wages, interest on capital, and net profit or normal profit. Now there is one more thing which you have to understand is why, okay, and how the income is getting distributed back to the firm. So because what we said here, we have said very clearly, circular flow of income is referring to the income in the production process. நம்ம இங்க என்ன சொல்லிருக்கோம், ப்ரொடக்ஷன் ப்ராசஸ் இருக்கும். அப்போ முதல்ல நம்ம பண்ணது வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, it is not production process, it is service oriented. Household is giving only services to the firm and for which the payment is getting exchanged. But now how does the payment comes back to the firm? இப்போதைக்கு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இது ஒன் வே டிராஃபிக்காக தான் இருக்கு. ஃபேர்மு கிட்டே இந்த ஹவுஸ் ஹோல்டுக்கு தான் மணி போயிருக்கு. பட் எப்படி இப்போ ஹவுஸ் ஹோல்டுக்கு கிட்ட போன மணி ரிட்டர்ன் பேக் வரும் ஃபேர்முக்கு, தட் we have to see. So from household we have to see how the money comes back to the what firm, and for what purpose that money is coming back, that you also have to understand. அப்போ ஃபேர்மு கிட்டேருந்து ஏதோ ஒன்று போயிருக்கு ஹவுஸ் ஹோல்டுக்கு, அது என்ன, ஏதோ ஒன்று கொடுத்துருக்காங்க ஃபேர்மு, அதுக்கு தான் என்ன பண்ணுறோம், பேமெண்ட் பண்ணுறோம். Nothing is production process, goods or services is been produced. What the firm does, the firm is producing some goods or they are providing some services. Can you able to understand?
Yes. sir.
So the firm is providing the household some goods or services, okay, and the household is consuming those goods or they are consuming that services. Now, for this consumption, you have to pay some amount to the firm in return. So that is why we call them as consumption expenditure.
Expenditure.
ஓகே டெக்னிக்கல் டேர்ம்ஸ் தெரிஞ்சுக்கோ ஏன் அது கன்சம்ஷன் ஏன்னா ப்ரொவைட் பண்ணி ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ண கூட்ஸ் அண்ட் சர்வீஸஸ் ஹவுஸ் ஹோல்ட் கன்சியூம் பண்ணிட்டாங்க அதனால தான் பிகினிங் ஆஃப் தி செஷன்லேயே நான் என்ன கொடுத்துருக்கேன் பாருங்க ஹவுஸ் ஹோல்டுக்கு என்னென்னு கொடுத்துருக்கேன் பாருங்க நேமு ஹவுஸ் ஹோல்டு என்ன நேம் கொடுத்துருக்கோம் consumer கொடுத்திருக்கோம்.
Consumers.
So consumer will consume the goods or services. So consumption takes place. அந்த கன்சம்ஷனுக்கு நீங்க ரிட்டர்ன் பேக் பே பண்ற அமௌண்ட் தான் என்னது கன்சம்ஷன் எக்ஸ்பெண்டிச்சர். அப்ப பாரு ஃபேக்டர் பேமெண்ட்டுங்கிற பேர்ல ஒரு அமௌண்ட் ஃபேமுக்கு இருந்து ஹவுஸ் ஹோல்டுக்கு வந்து சேருது. அந்த அமௌண்ட்ல இருந்து ஒரு போர்ஷன் என்ன ஆகுது மறுபடியும் ஃபேமுக்கே போய் சேருது என்னங்கிற பேர்ல கன்சம்ஷன் எக்ஸ்பெண்டிச்சர்ங்கிற பேர்ல. This, if you are able to understand, then I will move on to the next concept. Can you able to understand this concept? இது புரிஞ்சுதா?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The next we are going to discuss something called the phases. Okay, there is something called phases of circular flow of income. Okay, phases of circular flow of income. How many phases are there if you ask? We have got three phases. Okay, there are three phases, or otherwise we say there are three methods of computing national income. Okay, the same is also called as the three methods of computation of your national income. Okay, so three phases or three methods of computing national income. Now, what are those three? If you ask, the first one we call it as generation phase. The first one is generation phase. That is nothing but production phase. Okay, generation phase is a place where production activity takes place. Okay, so production takes place. The second phase, okay, distribution phase. The second phase is called distribution phase. This is a phase is which we call them as income phase. Okay, it is called as a income phase. What happened once the goods or services is being produced in the generation phase, it has to be distributed. Okay, when you do this, the supportive members, okay, that means those who have been instrumental or those who have been a part of this production process will get some income. Okay, so those who have contributed or supported for the production will get income during this phase that's called as a distribution phase. Okay, that's why we call this phase as income phase. So first you produce the goods or services, then it gets distributed. While you do that, income will be earned by the people who have been a part of the production process or who had been supportive in for production process. And then the third stage or the third phase we call them as disposition phase. What is the third stage? It's called as disposition phase. Here, what happened? The payment takes place. That is, the amount is being spent. Okay, so expenditure takes place. It is a phase of expenditure. We call this as an expenditure phase. So what happened once you earn the payment, once you receive the payment, or once you okay earn the income, the earned income will get distributed. It's get disposition in way of expenditure. So just what we saw here initially, okay, the firm is using these factor services and they are producing something called as goods and services. Okay, so firm is only producing goods and services, and this goods and services is being produced with the help of those land, labor, capital, and enterprise, for which they make a payment called as a factor payment. Now, the firm, once receiving this factor payment, they okay make use of the services, right? So once this factor payment is being received by the household, what happened, the household will start spending the amount, okay, to the firm itself by making the payment to the firm by ordering the required items. So in the same way here we see the first one is a generation phase where the production takes place, then the distribution phase where income is being earned, and the third stage is a disposition phase where expenditure takes place. Any doubt in these phases or in these three methods? This is what we call them as the three methods in the computation of national income. What are those three methods? If you ask, production method, income method, expenditure method. The three methods are production method, income method, and expenditure method. Any doubt in this?
Not sir.
Right. Are you taking the notes parallelly? Side by side எடுத்துக்கிறீங்களா
Yes,
notes?
sir.
Okay. Handwriting
Yes,
புரியுதா?
sir.
Handwriting புரியுதா?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The
Yes,
next
sir.
the next concept what we are going to understand now is with respect to the flow. There are two important flows: real flow and money flow. What are two important flows? Real flow and money flow. First, let us understand what is real flow is all about. Real flow. It is nothing but it refers to the flow of factor services. What does it refers to? It refers to the flow of factor services from where to where. When I say factor services means from where the factor services is getting exchanged. Factor services யார்கிட்ட இருந்து போறது?
Households to the firm.
Exactly. Okay. So real flow it refers to the flow of factor services from okay household to firm and flow of goods and services, okay, and flow of goods and the services, okay, from where to where. Goods and services யார்கிட்ட இருந்து மூவ் ஆகுது பாரு. Goods and services யார்கிட்ட இருந்து மூவ் ஆகுது?
Firms to the household.
Firm to households. Okay, goods and services from firm to households. Any doubt in this concept?
No, sir.
Okay. Now you should understand some special features or characteristics or importance of this real flow. First one, it is used to measure the production volume. For what purpose it is used? It is used to measure production volume, which is nothing but just a minute. Okay, so production volume it is nothing but GDP. Okay, GDP is nothing but gross domestic product. Okay, so it is helpful in the measuring the production volume GDP. The next importance of this is it helps to determine the growth process. Okay, helps to determine growth process in an economy. Growth process in economy. So in a country, how the growth takes place. To study about this or to determine this, it is very helpful. The real flow is very, very helpful about the growth process. About what? About growth process. The third, it is otherwise known as, or it is also known as, it has another name. It is also known as physical flow. What is the name? It is also known as, what is the other name, Kana? It is also known as physical flow. Okay, so real flow இன்னொரு பேர் என்ன? It is also known as physical flow. Any doubt up to this concept? Any
No,
doubt
sir.
until this? Okay, so real flow you should know. What happens? First, it is referring to the flow of what? Factor services. So factor services from household to the firm, and flow of goods and services from the firm to household. That is what we call this as a real flow. Okay. Again, you can just correlate with your accountancy concept or accounting. Real. அப்போ ரியல் சொல்லும்போது it is nothing but it includes your assets. Real account includes your assets. So in that aspect, if you see, what are all the items that we are considering as your factor services? Land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship, right? So land, labor, capital, it all form part of an asset, right? Asset, labors are also greatest asset. Then capital is nothing but assets plus liability. Okay, so it means it is all denoting to a asset. So assets are covered under the real account. So that's why we call this as a real flow, where the factor services is floating from the household to the firm, and the flow of goods and services is taking place from the firm to households. And three important characteristics or the important features are: it is more helpful in measuring the production volume of an economy, it is helpful to determine the growth process of an economy, and it is otherwise known as a physical flow. Any doubt until this? Any doubt until this? Hello? Yes. Now, what's the next one? What's the next one, Kana? The next one is about the money flow. Right now, we discussed about the real flow. The next we are going to discuss about the money flow. Okay. What's the next one that we are going to discuss? We are going to discuss about the money flow. Just a minute. I'm just facing some technical issues. Okay. Yeah. Tell me, what's the next flow that we are going to discuss is all about? The next flow is all about the money flow. Okay. Just a minute. Let me share it. Okay. My screen has got blocked. Yes. So I think real flow, you don't have any doubt. Is it clear to you all? Real flow? Real flow, Punjira?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, can you resend the PPT which you send me during the exam, sir?
I'll do it, Kan. I'll do it. I'll do it. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
So here this is about the real flow. The next is all about, we are going to discuss this about the money flow. What's the next flow we are going to discuss is money flow. Okay, the second point we are, or the second item is money flow. So money flow is nothing but it refers to the flow of money. Okay, what is it refers to? It refers to the flow of money. From where to where? From firm to
The
household.
forms to the household.
Okay, initially this taking place from firm to household. Okay, and later what happens? And okay, household to firms, vice versa, and households to firm. I'm making sense to you. Like flow of
Yes, sir.
factor payment. Okay, it is nothing but it is okay like flow of factor payment. Okay, it is like a flow of factor payment from firm to household, and okay, flow of consumption expenditure and flow of consumption expenditure. So consumption expenditure is taking place from where to where? From household to firm. Correct? From
Yes, sir.
household to firm. So in money flow, if you see in simple terms, we say there are two things which we are discussing about. One is about the factor payment. Okay, one we are giving importance to factor payment. In factor payment, what happens? In factor payment, okay, the money is being paid by firm to household. Okay, firm to household, the money takes place. And then the second important concept in this money flow is we are talking about your consumption expenditure. Consumption expenditure. In consumption expenditure, what happens? From household, the money is getting transferred to firm. So this is what we are saying in simple terms. Okay, so money flow refers to the flow of money. Okay, it is equivalent to the factor payment in case where money transfer from firm to household, and also it is equivalent to consumption expenditure where the money is being paid from household to the firms. Any doubt in this context? What is money flow is all about?
No doubt,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, now coming up to the important features. For what purpose it is helpful? What is the significance of this particular concept? Is it is helpful to measure? Okay, it helps to measure money supply. Okay, it is helpful in measuring what? It helps to measure money supply. ஓகே அப்போ மணி ஃப்ளோங்கிற போதே அங்கே டேர்ம் வந்துருச்சு மணி சப்ளை இன் தி எக்கானமி that is in the country. Okay, in the economy, this is one of the important okay reason why we have money flow. And the second one is it is also having another name. It is also called as nominal flow. Okay, it is also known as nominal
Nominal flow.
flow. Clear? So there we have discussed with respect to the real flow, the 3 points. For what purpose it is helpful? It is helpful to measure the production that is taking place. So measuring the production volume in the economy, that is called GDP, and it is otherwise known as physical flow, and it is determining the growth process in the economy. Whereas here, if you see, it is helpful to measure what? Measure the money supply in the economy, and it is otherwise known as nominal flow. Any doubt up to this? Any
No,
doubt
sir.
up to this? Is it clear to everyone? Is this clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so as I just want to sum up today what we have learned and discussed. Okay, so we are going in a very steady phase. So make sure that you learn these concepts very strongly, very thoroughly, so that again, once again, you should not go and read again and again. One time, if you have learned it, you are thorough, then write and see without seeing, and get yourself familiarized with the terms, with the concepts, and with the terminologies. So we discussed something about the factors that is existing in an economy. So four factors we discussed initially. Then we discussed something what is a national income is all about. Then we also discussed what is the meaning of a circular flow of income in a two-sector economy, and what are the components of a two-sector economy, household and firm. And we have discussed separately circular flow. So why we denote this flow to income? Because in inflow and outflow of cash will be only on incomes. Okay, so that's why we call this as a circular flow. And we also discussed in detail about what is a circular flow of income in a production process. So who is utilizing the services? The firm is using the services of the household, that is called factor services, for which the factor payment is done by the firm to the household, and that particular factor payment is used, okay, when the household is buying the goods and services, and the payment is done in the way of consumption expenditure. So you can see here the land, labor, capital, and enterprise, that is entrepreneurship, are nothing but the factors of production, and they are also being honored with the payment that is called as your what payment? Factor payment. That is rent is paid for the land, okay, wages is paid for the labor, capital is paid for the interest on capital, sorry, for capital, interest on capital, and for entrepreneurship the net profit or the normal profit has been given back. And then we also discussed that there are three important phases in the circular flow of income, and these three stages or these three phases is only contributing towards your three important methods in computing the national income. The three methods or the three, okay, phases are generation phase, distribution phase, and disposition phase. Generation phase is a phase where the production takes place, okay, and once the production takes place, it gets distributed, and in this distribution process, people who have been instrumental and supportive for the production of those goods and services will earn some amount in the way of an income, and those income will be used to procure, that is to purchase the goods and services produced by those by those, okay, firms. So you are spending the money back to the economy. That's why we call this as a disposition phase, where expenditure phase is other name for us. And yes, we also discussed lastly as the real flow versus money flow. So real flow is nothing but here only items such as the factors of production is taking place. Okay, it refers to the flow of factor services from household to firm, and flow of goods and services from firm to household. And the purpose of its usage is production, that is to ensure the production volume, measure the production volume, and it is helpful to determine the growth, okay, process in economy. It is also known as physical flow. Last, we discuss about the money flow. Money flow is nothing but it is referring to the flow whereby, okay, the firm, there is money from the firm has been spent to the household, and then, okay, household is spending money to the firm. So like how we have these two things, factor payment and consumption expenditure. So in factor payment, the firm will make the payment to the household. In consumption expenditure, the household will make the payment to the firms. And last but not the least is the purpose of this money flow should be understood. The purpose of this money flow is for what? For what the money flow is used? Money flow helps to measure the money supply in an economy, and it is also known as what? Nominal flow. What is the other name of money flow? Money flow is also known as
Nominal flow.
nominal flow. So with this, we are stopping it here. We will continue, okay, the next session on Thursday, where we will be discussing the next concepts in this topic. That is nothing but differences between your stock and flow, and then we'll discuss about the types of goods in an economy. Usually there are four different types of goods. That is, number one, final goods. Number two, there is something called intermediate goods. Then we have something called as a consumption, okay, or consumer goods. And finally we have capital goods. So regarding these four different types of goods, we will be discussing in detail, okay. And once if this is done, then we'll have to understand the different types of final goods. So we have sub classifications. So I ensure you that the concepts what you're going to learn from me in terms of economics will be more clear, crisp, and at the same time it will be perfect, that you need not worry upon it. Only thing is you ensure that you take the notes simultaneously along with me as and when I dictate it or as and when I write it on the board. So don't just okay take some printout or soft copy and with that don't learn it. You write once and then do it, because it will not take for me more than 10 minutes or 15 minutes, okay, where I can just run through everything in a PowerPoint or in a slideshow. But that I don't want to happen. That's why I started writing the concepts in front of you itself by sharing my screen. So please write and see. No issues, no issues. Until this, if you have no doubts, then you can end the session. We'll see tomorrow morning 5 a.m. for our accountancy class. I'll be posting the link tonight by around 10 o'clock or 10:30 or 11. Okay, that's anyhow the timer will be standard. Okay, either it will be 5 o'clock or 5:15. It will not go beyond that unless and otherwise if there is some technical issue for me with respect to my okay data work. Okay, if I have some okay data issues, others if I have some okay net issues, probably it can get delay. If there is no okay net issues, obviously the class will be either 5 o'clock in the morning or by 5:15. And from tomorrow morning we'll have one more new admission, okay, in our group, right? If you have any doubt, get your doubts clarified and then we can end the session. If there is no doubt, yes, we'll end the session right now.
Sir, can you send these notes in the group?
i'll do it I'll do it, no issues.
Sir, and also can you send the PPT, sir?
I'll send it. Don't worry, I have recorded this session completely. I'll try to upload this video also in the YouTube channel of mine. I'll share that particular link also. Okay?
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you, sir.
Thank you. Welcome.
Bye, sir.
Bye, Kana.